So hello everybody, so this is Rita Mendez. I'm your state representative, honored to represent the city of Champion, city of Brockton. And I'm here today on our special show, Brockton to Beacon Hill, with our amazing Kelly Young, the Director of Veteran Services in the city of Brockton. And I wanted to really call you and have you do the show with me, mainly because you see, I'm always busy. I'm always in the community, and I still have people asking me, what exactly do you do? What does your office do? How can you help us? And I think Veteran Services, Veterans Benefits, people know you guys for the two main events, the parade that we do in the city every year, but I know your office is small but mighty, does tremendous work every single day. So I wanted you to introduce yourself to the community. Tell us who is Kelly Young, and I know you're also a veteran, so thank you for your service, but tell us a little bit about your background.
Thanks, Rita. Yeah, you've always been such a great advocate for our office and our veterans, and we appreciate every referral we get from you. Yeah, I am an Army vet. I'm an air traffic controller. I was in OEF and OIR, and I'm still in the National Guard, drilling, working every month. And I am the department head for the City of Brockton Veteran Services. And I have three other teammates in my office. We have CC Gomes, who's a Navy vet, Jerry Allian, who is a Marine Corps vet, and Josue Rojas, who's another Army vet.
You forgot the puppy.
Oh, we have a service dog, employee of the month every month, Chewy. He's a Shih Tzu. He's CC's service dog. You wouldn't even know he was there. He's a great addition to the staff.
Exactly. And I know that your office also provide services to the veterans. So you have veterans that will come to the office on a monthly basis. Do they come to get checks, or do they come to get additional services? They call your office. How is it the interaction with the veterans?
Yeah, so it's all of those things and more. So we have people that come once a month to check in to just maintain certain benefits. We do home visits. We get phone calls. Some people prefer email. It kind of just depends on the situation with the vet or the spouse, because we do benefits for dependents as well. And they call us so we work with local, state, and federal benefits. So the federal benefits are usually more well known. We do disability claims. I'm an accredited VSO, and CC's an accredited VSO. So we do disability claims. We can help people with the VA home loans and education benefits, like the GI Bill and the VR&E. We typically refer them out, but we can give pretty good guidance on how to get those processes started. And then for the federal spouse benefits, if a veteran passes of a service-connected death, the spouse and sometimes dependent children can be eligible for benefits, so we connect them as well. Our office is a certified VA work study site, so we have folks who are in school on VA education benefits, and the VA pays for it, and they can work for our office and do work towards veterans benefits as part of their work study. But the city is not on the hook for paying for it, the VA does. So that's a really good addition. So you'll see those folks around the office. And then there are some more obscure federal benefits, like the life insurance policy. So not long ago, I'm not qualified to give advice on life insurance, but if you have it and you know you want it, we can do the paperwork for it. And so like not long ago, I got a call to go to Cherry Street to help this vet change his beneficiary on his VA life insurance policy. So any federal benefit, the accredited VSOs in the office can help move those benefits along. And then the burials cross between federal and state. There are some federal benefits, there are some state benefits. And so the funeral directors typically drive veterans burial. They'll reach out to the cemetery. So if it qualifies for Bourne National Cemetery, they'll work with Bourne. The state cemeteries are less well known, but you have the veteran cemeteries in Agawam and Winchendon, and they're gorgeous. They're just far from Brockton. And the military honors, we can reach out to branches, but again, the funeral directors usually lead that. Our role is usually helping folks fill out the paperwork for the monetary benefits around burials, the state and federal burials.
And I've heard you share many stories of veterans that unfortunately passed, and you have family members, so they were at the VA hospital for a few days until somebody notified you. So how is that going with the interaction between your office and the VA hospital and making sure that you get notified right away when a veteran unfortunately passes?
It goes pretty well. You know, it's their staff turnover. It's not just the VA. We have Good Sam and the Brockton Hospital. And, you know, a lot of people, like we're in the Boston area, so a lot of people are in Boston, but if their last residence was Brockton, they're ours to bury if they need it. So it's a lot of the state VSOs. We try to do education for like funeral directors and hospitals and to make sure everybody knows what benefits are available and how to contact the VSO. But yeah, that's a tough part of the job is, you know, being the only car behind the hearse going to a burial and born. That's a long drive. Any of those, Agawam especially, it's a long drive to reflect on life and death and how.
Do you usually attend the funerals?
If it depends, we're a small staff of 4,
yes.
but if we can send somebody, we send somebody. One of us in the office.
That's nice, yeah. And when you know the person, then I guess it makes it a little bit harder because then you've had an interaction with them and then you hear that they passed and it always becomes difficult in that case. But you also have a beautiful building, a new building that has been renovated that we had a beautiful tour. So how's the new office and the building and the air conditioning? Well, now it's winter, so
the heat's good right now. The air conditioning is good in the summer. The renovation, it's great, but it's a lot of stuff you can't see, like a roof and fresh air exchange. So I mean, they painted it. It's always been gorgeous. It's even the beauty's just been refreshed. But it's a lot of like not structural, but parts of building maintenance that need to be done, but they're not as attractive, and it's harder to see where the money went, but it's being in there, you can feel the air quality difference and the climate control.
And especially if you've been there in the summertime without the air conditioning, so you can definitely feel it.
Yeah.
Now.
If you were at a Purple Heart luncheon in August before, you'll know for sure.
You feel the difference, so
Yeah.
you don't question what was spent in there. But that building is beautiful, and I'm happy that you guys are there. So you have visit guest schools that will come and tour around, or not so much as they should?
Well, we really can't staff tours, but if we have clients in and they want to take a look around, or typically how people get a tour, I wouldn't even call it a tour, is they don't have great mobility, so they have to come in the main door because everything's locked and we won't know they're at a side door, but we'll let them out the side door and you walk through the auditorium and they say, wow, I didn't even know this was here. So hopefully as the city regroups, we'll be able to staff renting the building out for functions. But right now it's not available for rental.
Yeah, I'm sure people would pick up on that because it's like a lot of space, a beautiful location, and it will be making nice events. And any extra money that we can get, especially going towards veteran, you got to make sure that it goes back to your office. So the next generation with the students in the high schools, is there any interaction? Because what I feel is the veterans, they have so much to share about their time in the service and what it means to them, and the next generation to encourage to go and enlist and serve. So I feel that we miss out by not taking the time and listening to them. So is there any a bridge in between the generations to encourage the future ones to still want to go and serve our country?
There's a bridge. It's an informal bridge. We do a lot of work with the JROTC at Brockton High. I think they're the Boxer Battalion, but they're huge. They've doubled or tripled in size. They have over 300 Brockton High students in the JROTC, and that's more than double than when I started.
They do amazing work, and they take it serious. It's so really nice to see them at the events, and you can tell that it really means a lot to them to be part of the group. So I enjoy watching them, but it's nice. I feel we are missing from the wisdom of our veterans. Approximately how many do we have in Brockton? Do we have a count?
We have a count. I would say it's not the most accurate, but the last census I looked at said we have 32 3,400 vets in Brockton.
Wow.
So the data I have is only as good as what people fill out on the census. Veteran status is a protected status. There's no requirement to disclose veteran status, but for money, grants, data, me justifying, staffing and the budget and everything, it's really important for people to fill out veteran status on the census.
So the money that your office gets depends on what they fill out on?
Not directly, but when I write grants, for example, when I write grants, the higher the number of veterans, the more likely it is to show the need, that there's a need for that grants service in the community. And I do think it's good justification for the budget that we do have.
So when you first came in, I know you had your first parade that you were organizing, and it all worked out great, perfect, but you work in a lot of collaboration with other city departments. And I think it's nice when you see everybody just coming in together, making sure that the parades there, we're honoring the veterans, we're honoring the people that served our country, and doing that every time. So you're always doing amazing work. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
And also, last legislative session, we passed the HERO Act, which was amazing. That was what the governor really pushed for. And, Secretary John Santiago, which was also a state representative before. He's also a doctor, and he's just like so many things, and he still goes, he was like serving the country, and then he came back. He was like someplace played some. So he's amazing. He's all over, and he's a strong supporter, obviously, of veterans. How is it the collaboration between the offices and the support that you get from the state, and also how is the HERO Act helping benefit the veterans in the city of Brockton?
So that's a really loaded question. The HERO Act, I think, just not even the full amount, the full HERO Act, what it actually does, but just the revisions in the law was over 50 pages. But I can tell you the four things I get asked about the most are the increase in the Massachusetts Veterans Annuity. So before the HERO Act, it was $1,000 in February and August for people with 100% service-connected disability or blindness, or for the spouses of a veteran who died of a service-connected death. And that has increased to $2,500 a year. And it's being phased in. You probably know this better than me, but it's being phased in from now until 2026. So the last payment was $1,000. I think this one will be $1,250. And then I believe in August, it's going to begin one payment a year of $2,500.
Is that automatically? It just kicks in after the bill got signed and passed into law? Then it just becomes.
All of the people. I really hope so. I hope we don't have to do new applications.
I hope so too.
But yes, they have a list of people who are approved for the benefit, and it's a direct deposit that I have nothing to do with. Other than that initial application, the Executive Office of Veteran Services just pays that out. I think through the comptroller.
Good. And then also the behavioral health, does that increase help? Supposedly it's going to be easier to make sure that we get treatment for veterans and that they can get the support that they need. So hopefully that should be easier for the bill. And then that is a big one. What about this vet hire tax credit? So this is the amount of money that employers will get in benefits if they're hiring veterans.
Yes, I don't have that one memorized as well, but there's a National Guard tax credit where you get a tax credit for hiring guardsmen. It's not always been around, but it's been around for a few years. But the tax credit, I think the amount of it depends on the type of business and the size of your business, how many employees. I'd have to look it up and get back to you, but it is just another incentive to hire veterans in the community.
Especially if the veteran is having a hard time finding jobs. Does your office assist at all with making sure that they're able to get jobs and applying and computer assistance, application, resume, that's a lot to ask. This is a lot of work.
We do indirectly. So
Yeah.
the Executive Office of Veteran Services has, I forget their title, but their education and employment like specific team. And so we make referrals there. And then we are lucky enough to have a mass hire right in Brockton. And all of the mass hires have a DVOP. Don't ask, the V is veterans, but I don't know the rest of it. But it's a DVOP who their specific job is to, when there's a veteran that goes to mass hire, they go to the DVOP directly. And I think they have a smaller caseload, and they are, they specialize in taking like military skills and translating them to a resume and helping veterans find jobs. So we have Jim Schmidt in Brockton, and we make a lot of referrals to him, and he helps, he then puts them into the right mass hire classes, you know, for resume writing or like the Microsoft Word suite classes, all that. And then we always refer people to the library for digital literacy. The Brockton Public Library has great digital literacy programming.
The Brockton Library.
Yeah.
They do amazing work as well with the veterans and non-English speakers. They just like so busy and they do so much. Also the RMV license plates. So at least that's free now that they're able, if they're a veteran, they'll be able to get their license plates for free. I did not know they had to pay like an extra fee to get their license plate, and I've received calls from veterans before in my office complaining that they had to pay, and I was like, I can't believe you have to pay, and then I've realized that they did. So now at least that's not the case anymore, so now they can get, they've been having any issues with that, they just go to the RMV and just show the certification that they veterans that they should be.
Yep, there's a, like, it's usually a DD 214 that's required. That's the discharge document, and they bring that, and there are a number of changes to the RMV under the HERO Act, and one of them is the cost of veteran plates. I think, I can't remember, I did that a long time ago, but I think the plate might have been more, but prior to the HERO Act, the plate might have been more, but you only had to register your vehicle every other year. So it kind of evened out. Once you had the plates, you weren't paying a registration fee every year. Now it's the cost of veterans, not just the veterans plate, but like the Purple Heart, the like Bronze Star, all of the veteran, like the suite of military plates, the fees changed. And if you're 100% disabled, now there's a whole bunch of fees that have been waived, like the license fee, the registration fee, the excise taxes, which is actually through the city, not the RMV, but there's a whole new change to, and folks with 100% actually have the most fee waivers now.
Good.
Yeah.
So at least you're seeing that improvement. Also, I received calls, for real estate tax abatements, and senior citizens, they can just go to City Hall, but they didn't know that until the end of January, I believe, that they'll take on the applications. Do you refer veterans also, so they'll be able to get like real estate tax abatements for that? I actually referred somebody over there, and I told them just go to the basement level and you'll see them, and you ask at the front desk that they'll be able to direct you. And then he calls me back and he said, oh, it was like $300 off, which is something. And because I've already told my friend, and he's asking me all about that. I said, oh, make sure you bring your friend over and do that, because it's only until, I believe, the end of January. So that may be something good to just inform the veterans. I don't think they have to be veterans to get the tax abatement, but it's for people that are on fixed income, senior citizens. They'll look at each scenario, they're very good, and try to help them. So there's that too.
Yeah, so the assessor's office is great, and they know this way better than me. So as you mentioned, there's like senior property tax abatements. I think there's one for vision impairments, but the clause 22, it's like clause 22A through G or H are all the veterans tax property abatements. And so some of them are for the actual veteran, and they're based on like service-connected disability. Some of them are for the parents or spouses of veterans who have passed from a service-connected disability. And I have like a packet here of all the things. I don't have them memorized. But the assessor's office is great, and they'll be able to tell you which one is the best one for you. And what the HERO Act did was, it hasn't changed anything in Brockton, I'm gonna say yet, hopefully yet. What it did was it allowed municipalities to choose, if they want, 2 different local options. One of them would be up to doubling the property tax abatement. And the other one would be linking it to the CPI, so it would go up a little bit every year. But that's not something I really deal with directly. That's something that the city council has to pass. So a lot of people called and said, you know, they gave me the wrong tax abatement. It should have been $2,000. It was only $1,000. And I said, well, Brockton hasn't adopted any local options yet. I think we're still figuring out like the financial impact. I've asked some questions. I'm trying to gather data to present it. And if the city council thinks that that's something Brockton can handle, because that's like above my pay grade, right? Like taxes and how much money the city brings in taxes. I, of course, will always advocate for the most we can get for veterans, but the city council are the ones who will determine, and I think I have that right. I'm not great at municipal government. I think it's the city council has to vote it in. But it's at any rate, it's not my office, it's not the state, those are local options that the HERO Act has allowed for the property tax abatements.
So that is interesting. That's something that we can always follow up with the city council and make sure that we can do that. But that's important for people to know, because like you said, a lot of times they just see it that it's on the bill, that it's automatically across the board, but like no, each of the municipalities have the option to do that. Doesn't mean that they necessarily have to. Interesting. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I'm gathering the data because I can't advocate for it without facts. So it's just, August wasn't that long ago, and there are only 4 of us, so we take care of, you know, the people who are in front of us. But I don't even have free time. In my lunch hours, you know, I'm gathering data on what the financial impact of increasing the property tax abatements would be.
Do you have volunteers that come and help at your office, interns from the schools that come and help? Anything? Do you get any extra help?
Kind of, but because we deal with so much really private information, there's only so much you can sort of outsource. But we have is this a good time to talk about the property tax work-off program? Yeah. So so we talked about property tax abatements based on like disability and service-connected disability or deaths. But the city has the Veterans Property Tax Work-Off Program. There's also a seniors property tax work-off program that Janice Fitzgerald at the Council on Aging and her team manage. But the Veterans Property Tax Work-Off Program is an opportunity for any veteran in the city, as long as they have like a good discharge and they live in the city and they own their home, they can work for my office for 100 hours and get $1,500 off their property taxes. And that's in addition to any other property tax abatement they were already getting. And the work they're doing, we have folks that work at the library, or they do their work at the library. They do their work picking up trash at the parks. They will scan documents in my office. Some of them look up historical, but there's a lot of historical information at the War Memorial, so they work on like preserving documents. We have someone who helps out at the golf course, and we can place people in any city department that says they need some help.
In the historical, I saw the office that you have just a whole bunch of historical things that still need to be put up, I guess, like a museum. I think you have enough if you just organize it to just be a little bit of a small museum and about the history. And the historical is from people that lived in the city. Oh wow. That's awesome.
We have veterans that go back to the Revolutionary War in Brockton, and we don't have great data on everything, but we have a lot of interesting stuff.
And you do the banners around the city?
Yeah, the Hometown Heroes Banners program. So folks, the only ones that our office has driven or have driven are the ones for the World War I. There's a book, it's like a 20-word title, but it's called like Brockton's Sons Who Gave the Ultimate Sacrifice in the World War, because we didn't know there was going to be a second one at the time. And so we took the photos from that book and we put them on banners. They're going down Belmont Street from Warren and then like towards the outside of Brockton. And so those ones came from our office. All the rest were submitted by family and friends of people who are from Brockton or moved to Brockton and are veterans. And if you call my office, we'll give you a form, an online form, and you submit the discharge document, the photo, and a little bit of information. And We can only order 40 a year. That's all that we have budgeted. And so it might be a while before it goes up, but they will all go up eventually.
Do you have a lot of requests of people that actually, they probably don't know about it, that they can just request the form to have the banner up? Did they?
We have a lot. We've already ordered 30 of the 40 this year, and we kind of hold off just in case some of the ones that are already up don't make it through the winter or something happens. And then we'll order 10 more probably in the spring, and hopefully they're new ones that have been on the list. And then next July, we can order 40 more. We'll just keep going like that.
So how can we help you? What asks would you have for the city of Brockton, for the community, for the state delegation? We work a lot together, and also I know the mayor is a great partner. Everybody really comes together. But what would be your ask that for your office that would be great to assist you?
Oh, that's so, on TV, you're gonna ask me what I want from the city? I don't even know.
From the state also, you can ask us.
Yeah, from the state. So so a lot of the barriers that we hit in our office are like national problems, right? We have folks that have like serious mental illness and they're not being case managed, but they refuse all treatment. No one has a solution for that right now. And I try to do outreach. I walk out at like the camps, and I try to find the people I know are vets. I try to find new vets once a month and just offer them services. But that's a national problem that nobody has a solution for. And we have a lack of services for, like medical services, for our aging population of veterans. And so what happens is I get a lot of calls when somebody needs to get into a rehab, or they are paying like insane amounts of money, or they try to get into a rehab, but they don't have $12,000 a month. And so there's like not just like a regular housing shortage, but there's like a long-term housing shortage for medical care. And so I don't know that's something the city or the state can solve, but I would say we need more resources for our aging vets, for sure. And
housing is a big issue,
yeah.
But, especially supportive housing,
Yeah.
because that's what we need. That's really what the governor is focusing on, and lieutenant governor. But it's beyond and what we can do, and hopefully there will be a solution. What are you grateful for? What can we end on a positive note?
Yeah,
that
so
you learned.
So to give credit where credit's due, they just redid the soldiers' homes in the state. I know they're not really near Brockton, but the Chelsea and the Holyoke soldiers' homes have been redone, and that they do offer supportive housing. So like small steps. We would love some of that down here, but we have that. We're really happy for all the support we have from the community, the people that help us. We have 7,000 graves and like 40 parks, monuments, and stones. All the people that come out to put 7,000 flags out, that offer their time. If you see me today on BCA, any other time you see me, it's usually at City Council trying to accept a donation, like the Coats for Vets that you helped us with, or some of the food donations. So I'm just really happy for all the support that we get.
And today I was at the ribbon cutting for Father Bill's in Mainspring, and that's on Mainly Street, right near the VA hospital. So hopefully we'll be able to assist some veterans with supportive housing, and then they'll be right there to get services at the VA hospital. So we're really looking forward and excited for that, and that should be up in operations, I would say, in March. But we had the ribbon cutting today, which is what we need in the city a lot more. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks
Thank you for
me.
agreeing. And I'm sure there's a lot of information.
Yep.
So if they need to reach out to your office, what would be the best phone number or website? How do the best reach out to your office?
So the City of Brockton website, if you go to the Veteran Services Department under City Offices, we're the Veteran Services Department, and our phone number is 508-580-7850. But we only have 2 lines and 4 people. And the fastest and best way to get in touch with us is veterans@cobma.us. So it's veterans, veterans @cobma, like City of Brockton, Massachusetts.us. And it's a lot easier to answer an email than the phone sometimes. But we get back to everybody who leaves us a message or sends us an email.
Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. We'll be back for our next Brockton to Beacon Hill. Thanks everybody for watching.